Hey everybody, how you doing? How are you? Alright, guess what we're reading? You know what we're reading. We're reading The Sword of Allah. Let's continue. It's been awesome, action-packed. In Medina, Abu Bakr sat on the floor of his house, getting used to the tremendous burden which the assumptions of the caliphate in these stormy days had placed upon his shoulders. The strain would have shattered his nerves, but for his limitless faith. Now, again, leaders have to have very strong nerves, so imagine that kind of pressure, right? Umar entered. Umar was calm and confident, for he was used to speaking to Abu Bakr as a strong, vigorous man would address a mild and submissive, albeit beloved comrade. Abu Bakr waited until Umar had delivered the message and also expressed his own opinion regarding the proposed change of command. Then he leapt to his feet and shouted at Umar, "O son of Al-Khattab, it was the messenger of Allah who appointed Usama as the commander, and you want me to remove him from command." Umar hastily backed out of Abu Bakr's house. He returned to the camp where the elders waited to see the news he would bring. Umar abused them roundly. On June 24, 632, the first of Rabiul Akhir, 11 al-Hijri, the army of Usama broke camp and moved out. Okay, so Usama's leading this group. I like how they gave us the date right here, June 24. Abu Bakr walked some distance beside the mounted Usama and refused to let the young commander dismount from his horse. "Every step that Muslim warrior takes in the way of Allah," he explained to Usama, "he earns him the merit of 700 good deeds and the forgiveness of 700 sins." Now that's substantial. So if you're doing that, and the footnote says 17 from Ibid. So, Ibid Volume 2. Abu Bakr asked if he could retain Umar with him as advisor, to which Usama readily agreed. Then he gave his parting instructions to the army commander. "Carry out your task. Start the operation with raids against the Khuzas. Let nothing deter you from accomplishing the mission given you by the messenger of Allah." And the army of Usama marched away. Okay, so look at that. Yeah, that's right. So Abu Bakr's like, "Hey man, you gotta go take on the Khuza, and you were appointed. It was given to you by the messenger himself, so don't mess up." The dispatch of the army of Usama was a mistake in the circumstances which had arisen since the Prophet's death. Some Muslim writers have stated that it was a wise move on the part of Abu Bakr, as it gave a show of strength to the rebels and thus deterred them from the greater violence. Okay, so that's one. I guess there's a contending view on that. I mean, naturally, there's going to be disputes of positions and stratagems. A show of strength is important. You can't underestimate that. Actually, this was not the case. Oh, snap. Although Usama carried out his mission with efficiency and speed, his operation had no bearing whatever on the major actions of the apostasy, which were fought in north-central Arabia. So not a direct, thing that shifted it to where you would count it as a net gain. Okay. The dispatch of the army of Usama was an act of faith, displaying complete submission to the will of the departed prophet. But as a maneuver of the military and political strategy, it was anything but sound. Okay, so let's see why. This is also proved by the fact that all the Muslim leaders were opposed to move the leaders who produced, in this and the following decades, some of the finest generals of history. Okay, so let's see. Abu Bakr was moved to this decision by nothing other than his desire to carry out the last military wish of the Prophet. It was not lack of strategically judgment, which led him to the send of the army of Usama, for Abu Bakr had ample military ability, as he was to prove soon after in his direction and conduct of the war against the apostates and invasions of Iraq and Syria. Okay, so there's a good point. So Abu Bakr, he was waging war against his enemies in Iraq and Syria. It's very important to know what's going on in different geographical locations. First, right, we have our army of Osama, that's right. The army of Osama was gone. Reports of ever-spreading revolt and of the concentration of hostile tribes became more serious day by day. The apprehensions of the Muslims increased. In contrast, the apostates rejoiced at the news of Abu Bakr's assumption of the caliphate and the departure of the army, with Abu Bakr at the helm of the Muslim affairs. They thought their objective of crushing a new Muslim state would be more easily achieved. They probably thought, okay, so once you lose your main spearhead, you see how the inheritor does. So since it's fresh, they assumed maybe, and if we were in their shoes, they might have saw that as like, that's a sign that this is not really going to work out for them. This is the time to strike them because they're still disoriented or not as banded together as they could have been. So it depends, right? You can look at it from multiple perspectives. But clearly we see who really won in the end, right? Who survived. The rebels were relieved that they did not have to deal with the fiery Umar or the peerless Ali. Ooh, okay, I like that nickname. So we have the fiery Umar, peerless. Just, ooh, that's a powerful word, peerless. They would only have to deal with a nice old man. Ah, I see. Yeah, because he can be the wise, like every leader is perfect for certain contexts, right? And different soldiers and different people want different kinds of leaders, right? But some people do see older men that are maybe not as stoic as some care for. They see them not as like athletically filled with like testosterone, like they're gonna go at it, right? I don't know. But Abu Bakr seems like a very competent man, but if you're comparing him to essentially Ali and Umar, and since there's some military stratagems going on right now, people want who they want. What are you gonna do? You know what I mean? But the Muslims were in for some pleasant surprises, and the apostates from some rude shocks at the hand of the nice old man. Such shocks that one rebel chieftain, fleeing from the column of Abu Bakr, would cry in terror, "Woe to the Arabs from the son of Abu Kuhafa." Oh, snap. So Abu Bakr's like, "I really think I'm an old man. I'm not an old man." Plus, the old men back during this time, they're super strong, man. They didn't have Burger King. Okay, now we're in a new section. Abu Bakr strikes. The apostasy had become so general that it affected every tribe in Arabia, with the exception of the people in Mecca and Medina and the tribe of Saqif Taif. Okay, so that tribe, we learned about that earlier. In some cases, the entire tribe apostatized. Oh, wow, so breaking away. In other cases, part of the tribe apostatized while part continued to follow the true faith. And among those who remained Muslims, many had to pay with their lives for their faith. The flames of disbelief were fanned by two false prophets. Oh, the donkey dude? Was it the donkey dude? That guy, remember? He had a donkey. Tuleha bin Kuwalad and Muslima bin Habib. And a false prophet by the name of Saja bin al-Haris. Muslima had been an impostor for some time, while Tuleha made his claim to the prophethood during the illness of the Holy Prophet. Oh, creepy, right? That creepy dude. The most immediate threat to Medina was posed by Tuleha and the tribe of West Central and North Central Arabia that followed him. Okay, so for Tuleha, his name is spelled Tuleiha. So he's got some tribes down in West Central and North Central Arabia. These tribes were the Ghatafan, that's right, the Ta'i, okay, the Hawazin, familiar, and the Bani Asad and the Bani Sulaim. Okay, the Ta'i one sounds like a new one. The Bani Asad and the Bani Sulaim and the Ghatafan. and the Hawazin. Those sound very familiar, but I'm still gonna put a little bit of little dots next to them so we can find them annotatively quickly. The concentration of apostates nearest Medina were located in two areas: Abrak, 70 miles northeast of Medina, and Zukisa, 24 miles east of Medina. These concentrations consisted of the Ghatafan, the Hawazin, and the Tay. A week or two after the departure of the army of Usama, the apostates at Zukisa sent a delegation to Abu Bakr. Okay, what are they going to say? We want peace, we're sorry. Oops, let's pause it here, fam, so it doesn't freeze.